The pillars: decrease insulin, suppress appetite, and reduce sugar. We're talking about the second pillar of reversing diabetes. And this is part number 2. Last week we spent some time talking about the things, the challenges that we face in trying to suppress the appetite. You know, if we could suppress the appetite, if my appetite was not so ravenous, if I could control my urge for Ben and Jerry's ice cream, Cherry Garcia, that's my thing. If I can control my urge for pizza or hot dogs or Chinese food, then I would be great. That's what people say. And so what are the things that we can do to help suppress the appetite? Because they are challenging. They are challenging because of how we feel and how food makes us feel and the things that it brings back to our memory and the places that it puts us. And that urge is so strong. And right here tonight, we're going to talk about what can we do to be able to suppress the appetite? Because that's pillar number 2. And this is the second part. If you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And in this year, new you. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes who want to put their diabetes in remission, get off of medication, who want to improve their metabolic health, in fact, who want to reverse their diabetes. That's what we do here on the channel. If you're new, also go ahead and put new in the comments because I'd love to welcome you with a hand clap and some music and let you know that we are happy that you are in this space, in this community. If you have questions as we go through the show, make sure you put those in the comments and make sure you put a Q in front of them so that we know that that is something that we want to get to, that we need to answer that question. As we do here, you know, I've got my monitors that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. I've got my keto mojo meter. I've got my contour meter off to the side that we'll take a look at. And I also have right below, you see there, that's my Dexcom Clarity Report showing my average blood sugar over the last 2 weeks being 134. And in fact, if I change that to 90 days, you see what my average glucose has been for the last 90 days, 112, with my glucose management indicator of 6.0 down at the bottom, and I'm in target 83% of the time. We'll take a look at that here in just a minute. But to our conversation. Often people will have difficulty with a eating plan, with their health, with their metabolic disease, not because they don't know what to do, not because they don't have the right food, but they have difficulty because of appetite. And so pillar number 2 of our reversing diabetes has to do with appetite. And last week we spent some time talking about this very thing. If you recall, in our show, we talked about suppressing appetite, which is pillar number 2. And we talked about, so we're doing part 2 tonight of that series. And so what is appetite? So appetite, we reviewed, is the natural desire to eat. It's a natural desire. It is the thing that comes to our mind when we are in a particular situation, we're in a particular mood, we're in a particular event, right? Movies, we eat, right? We go to family functions and we eat. We remember how Aunt Sue's apple pie tastes, and so we eat. And oh my goodness, Christmas is coming up or Thanksgiving is coming up, and we remember that dressing that cousin so-and-so made, and I'm gonna have some. I'm not hungry, but I just can't wait. I'm anticipating it. When I go to New York, personally, I'm looking forward to having some pizza. I don't think about it when I'm here. I don't buy pizza. I don't go to the pizza store. But when I get on that plane, one of the first things I begin thinking about is pizza, and that is appetite. So appetite is different from hunger because hunger is a basic physiologic need for food. Hunger says that I need energy in the body right now. It's not that I think I need. It's not a desire. It's not, it makes me feel good. It's not because it's a particular occasion. It's because my body right now needs food. It needs energy. And that is the difference between hunger and appetite. We often eat because of appetite and not because of hunger. And so we reviewed and we went through and talked about some of the challenges for regulating appetite, right? So why is regulating appetite challenging? Because we said that there were hormonal and physiologic issues, right? So the hormones are flowing, and when those hormones get disrupted, they cause it to be difficult for us to manage our appetite, because they force us, they push us, if you will, in a direction to eat. Emotional and psychological factors, kind of like being on that roller coaster. When you go up, it doesn't matter what you do at the top of that roller coaster, it's coming back down, right? Yes. And then environmental and social cues, right? So we have these functions, we have these social cues. The family is sitting to eat. We go to that particular restaurant. We go to that particular place where we eat, and there's that particular thing, that food, that dessert, that whatever that is so good at that place that we end up going there, and that's what we eat. We eat because of diet and nutrition. The types of things that we are used to, the taste, the crunch, the feel, all of those, and we're not probably putting together the right combination of foods so that we are more hungry, right? So we can have a food that has high calories with small size, and you put that in the stomach, and it doesn't even stretch the stomach. And so the hormones never, the brain never gets the signal that there's something in our stomach, but the calories are there. Right? So diet and nutrition. We have difficulty because of lifestyle and behavioral habits. The things that we do, the social situations we are in, the lack of sleep, and we'll talk about that here in a little while, the fatigue that we have, the constant stress that we're under. And so those hormones, remember, cortisol is that hormone that goes out and finds energy in the form of sugar, and epinephrine is the hormone that helps your body use it. So the combination of those, because we're in this tonic, stressful environment, that we're always there, and so the blood sugars are always slightly above normal. Insulin is there because the blood sugars are high. The cortisol is there. The cortisol is causing those spikes, and we get into that vicious cycle. Okay, genetics and biology. There are certain things that are predisposed. Our families like certain flavors. They like certain feels. Mama liked it. Daddy liked it. Now the question is it social or is it genetic? We're going to go with genetic right now, but there are biological and social issues that come up. And then, of course, medication, medical and health status. So some disease processes, hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism, adrenal insufficiency, Cushing's disease, polycystic ovarian syndrome, that push us in a direction, and they cause different changes in our hormones, and those hormones ultimately can affect us. And of course, economics and accessibility. So people eat what they have access to. They eat what they can afford. And so that sets up lots of different consequences downstream for us. These are some of the challenges that people will go through as they are trying to manage their appetite. And so the question is, as we talk about suppressing the appetite, pillar number 2, what now? What do we do? And that's where we're heading tonight. That's what we're going to be talking about. What are some things that we can do to help us deal with the challenges that we find ourselves in? And you'll see the list there. Of course, the first one is adding a balanced nutrition to your daily, weekly, monthly lifestyle regimen. But before we get there, let's hop back over. I want to take a look at what my blood sugars are. And here is my Libre that's saying my blood sugar right now is 65, and I am actually right now, let's see, 3 minutes away from a 72-hour fast. So 3 minutes away from a 72-hour fast, and you see down at the bottom that that graph shows that I've been below 100, and of course, coming down the red part of the graph shows that right around 5-ish, 4:30, 5 o'clock, that we dropped below 70, and we've kind of maintained that for the rest of the evening. If I look at my Dexcom, it's saying that I'm 76 right now. And then let's hop over and take a quick look at what my Keto Mojo and my Contour are saying. Okay, let's see. So that's that one. Here we are. So let's take a look. And as you know, I've got a keto mojo that shows me glucose and ketones, and then a contour that just gives me glucose. So let's get a strip out and get that into the contour. Of course, I spilled those there, but that's okay. So get a strip into the contour. And then we'll start with the glucose for the keto mojo, and we'll come back and do the ketone in just a minute. And what do you think my blood sugars are going to be? What do you think these monitors are going to say? And then, of course, what do you think my ketones are? Okay. All right, so there we are. So we get that going. And let's grab a Lancet out of our trusty container here. And these are, this is a spring-loaded Lancet. You break off the top. In this case, the top is white, and the rest of it is purple. They come in lots of different colors. And it's spring-loaded, so when I press this lever, the spring will push a Lancet out, and that will give me the finger stick. So let's go ahead and let's pop over to this one. And I'm going to use a different finger than I normally use because sometimes because I use the other one that's calloused, I don't get a good drop of blood. So let's do that now. All right, so hopefully that one worked, and you heard that. So there we go. That's a good drop of blood. Let's get that on. Starting with the keto mojo and then onto the contour. And look at that. So keto mojo says 64. Contour says, in just a minute there, 66. And then my Libre says 66, which is keeping with the contour. And then the Dexcom says 76. Okay, so you can see that. And then let's go ahead and get this strip out of the keto mojo, and we'll put the ketone strip in, and we'll see what the ketones are. So right now, like I said, 72 plus hours. So 72, a little over 72 hours now. So let's go ahead and get a good drop. Okay, and we'll see what that is. And of course, like I normally do, I'm going to tease you guys because I'm not going to show you exactly what it turns out to be right now. We'll come back and look at that here in just a minute. All right. So we're talking about part 2 of reversing diabetes. Well, we're talking about reversing diabetes, and we're dealing with part 2 of the second pillar. And the second pillar, as you recall, is suppressing the appetite. And that's the review that we just did. So let's hop in and let's talk about what do we do? All right, so number one, well, let's go through that list. Let's look at that list again. Number one is adding balanced nutrition. Nutrition, a balanced diet is fundamental, right? Is fundamental in managing your appetite effectively. And why is that the case? So proteins, for example, when we're talking about balanced diet, we're talking about the ability to put together a meal that is nutrient dense and not calorie dense. Nutrient dense and not calorie dense. When we talk about a balanced meal, we're talking about a meal that contains all of the vital things that you need. Some protein, well, we've got some fat in there. In fact, let me do this. I want to hop over and pull up. If you know, we've been doing the challenges, and every month we've had a challenge, and one of the challenges was to create a meal. Let's see, where is one of the challenges was to create a meal, and here we are. Right, so this is a balanced meal. This is a meal. When we talk about a normal meal, this is it right here. So the challenge was to create a meal that had whole foods, that minimized processing, that had no added sugar, that had starchy and non-starchy vegetables, healthy fats, lean protein, that was tasty, and that had the appropriate portion size. Okay, so when we're talking about a balanced meal, we're talking about a meal that fits these parameters, that has carbs, has some protein, has some fats in there, and that helps to satiate you. So when you eat a balanced meal, there we go. Your body says, yes, I like this, and because I like it and because I have everything that I need, I don't have to go get anything else. I don't have to think about the cornbread. I don't have to think about the dressing. I don't have to think about the ice cream or the cake or the candy or the donut or whatever it is that right now is going through my mind. Okay? So a balanced diet. So proteins, they help to satisfy you. They help to satiate you, right? They help with satiety and they stabilize blood sugar levels. Remember, proteins will help to blunt the spike in blood sugars. Fiber, vegetables, whole grains, they take longer to digest. They keep you fuller longer. And they also will blunt the rise in blood sugar. Remember, as the blood sugar goes up, insulin goes up. When insulin goes up, insulin stimulates the appetite. Insulin dysregulates our hunger and satiety hormones. So if we're able to blunt, if we're able to minimize, if we're able to delay the absorption of the sugar that comes from the food, then that helps us with the appetite. And of course, healthy fats. So foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, like avocados and nuts, they enhance fullness. Right? In one of our check-ins last week, one of our community members put in that she adds MCT oil, okay, to her food. And you can do that. You can add healthy fats to your food because they help not only to satiate you, help you feel fuller longer, but they also help to blunt the absorption. So if you eat fat and carbs, then you'll have a delayed response to the carbohydrates. Okay, try it. All right, so we're talking about things that we can do that overcome some of the challenges that we find ourselves in when we're trying to suppress the appetite, right? Pillar number 2. And then we want to practice mindful eating. Practice mindful eating. So mindful eating is about engaging fully with the eating experience. Often, we are rushing through the food. Often we're spending time doing other things. We're watching TV, we're playing a game, we're talking on the phone. And so the eating experience is lost. And so the body eats the food, you get the food, you ingest the food, but then later on you're hungry again because the brain does not get satisfied with the food that we're eating. When you are taking time to be mindful, you're concentrating on the food. You're not obsessing. You're concentrating on the food, the feel. You're enjoying the flavors of the food. You're being mindful. You're being present. You're not off somewhere else thinking about getting ready to do something or thinking about something that you should have done. Okay? So pay attention to what and how much you eat. When we're mindful, it helps you to do that. Eat slowly and savor every bite, right? This leads to eating less. You know, if you eat fast, you eat more. But if you're in the mindful frame, you eat less, but you feel more satisfied, right? Because you're enjoying the food. When I fast, for example, and I go and I'm doing a good job of breaking my fast, I enjoy that food much more. Not just because I haven't eaten for a while, but I enjoy the food a lot more because I'm savoring it. I'm enjoying the experience of being with the food. And then it helps you to learn to recognize when you're hungry or whether you're eating out of heat, right? Remember our acronym HEAT, H-E-A-T, habits, emotions, access, and taste. Those are the things that will push us through our decision to eat or not to eat a particular thing. The habits that we form, the routines that we go through. We eat just because it's time to go to watch movies. We eat because we get together with that friend. We eat because we go to that place. We eat because of emotions, right? Emotions will push us through. We'll talk more about that here in just a little while. And access. Are things just around? Do they just happen to be in our environment? And we eat because of that. And then we eat because of taste. The perfect combination of fat, of sugar, of salt, the bliss point. And we eat not because of the food, we eat because of what it does, the space that it puts us in, the memories that it brings back to us. So when we're mindful, we're able to tell, are we eating because we are hungry, or are we eating because of habits, emotions, access, or taste? And then we want to stay hydrated. Hydration is huge. Hydration is essential. Drinking enough water is crucial. Thirst can it can be mistaken for hunger. How many times do we go eat something and it's actually just that we're thirsty? I've got my cup here. New year, new you. Right? How often do we eat just because we're thirsty, not because we're hungry? Staying hydrated helps avoid snacking. Right? I was going to put healthy snacking, but it avoids snacking. So we're not talking about whether it's healthy or non-healthy snacking. We don't want to snack. There's no reason for us to snack. If we're satisfied, if we are full, if we've eaten. Right? People say, I snacked because I'm hungry. No, you're not hungry. You snack because you've gotten into the habit of eating. Drinking a glass of water before meals can help you fill your stomach and naturally reduce your food intake. Because remember, some of the hormones, the hunger hormone, it is affected by the stretch of the stomach. So if the stomach is full, it's stretched because you have water, because you drank a glass of water, then the signal to the brain says, hey, I'm not full. So when you eat something, well, I shouldn't say it's full, you're not full then, but when you eat something, the water along with the food sends that signal out, and the body allows you to stop. The brain says, okay, let's stop eating now. So staying hydrated, another one of those things we can do to overcome the challenges that we find when we're trying to suppress the appetite. Get regular exercise. It is key to the benefits that we get. It is key to suppressing the appetite. Okay? So it helps burn calories. Boom, there you go. Big one. It helps affect your mood, positively affects your mood. It increases your energy level. It helps you feel more energized. It significantly reduces cravings. Yeah. So as we're exercising, we're burning calories. Your blood sugar is going down because we're using up some of that. When blood sugar goes down, insulin goes down. When insulin goes down, the cravings, the appetite is not stimulated. Boom. There you go. Right? So exercise, very, very, very important. It decreases your need for insulin, meaning that your total body insulin is less. Your body needs less insulin. It sensitizes your body to insulin so that, once again, when the blood sugar when the insulin goes down, because you are burning the sugar by exercising, so you don't need as much insulin, insulin goes down, the appetite is not stimulated. Okay? So we're talking about the things that we can do. So now what? What can we do to help suppress the appetite? Next is get quality sleep. Get quality sleep. When we're talking about sleep, we're talking about the benefits that come from it. And often we underestimate the power of sleep. So lack of sleep disrupts hunger hormones. Remember ghrelin and leptin. Those are those hormones that are in our brain. So when we don't get enough sleep, then those hormones are disrupted. And when they get disrupted, then that will tell us that we're not full, because leptin is disrupted, right? So remember, that's the satiety hormone. And it will tell us that we're hungry, because ghrelin is disrupted. So lack of sleep will cause that. Poor sleep leads to increased appetite, as we just described, right? So we want to get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Notice I say quality sleep, because just because you lay in the bed and you fell asleep and you are thinking and you are in pain and somebody calls you on the phone and all the things that go on, you wake up because you left the TV on, the lights are on. So you're sleeping, but you're going in and out of sleep. And that is not quality sleep. So you want to establish good sleep hygiene. Go to bed at the same time. Yep. Make sure it's dark. Make sure it's quiet. Make sure you don't have screens on. Okay? If you're in bed for more than 20 minutes at a time, get out of bed and then go do something else. And when you get tired, go back into bed. Bed is for sleeping and for intimacy. Boom. That's the two things. You shouldn't be playing crossword puzzles. You shouldn't be watching TV. You shouldn't be reading when you're in bed. So if you are not sleepy, if you get in bed and you're not asleep, after 20 minutes, get up and do something else, right? So you want to get good quality sleep. And when you get good quality sleep, it helps your hormones stay balanced. Yeah, those same hormones that we just talked about, it helps them stay balanced. So make sure you're getting good quality sleep. Once again, we're talking about what do we do to help with suppressing the appetite. Next, you want to manage stress effectively. Manage your stress effectively. Yep. That is huge, because stress causes those hormones to come out. Remember, cortisol and epinephrine. Cortisol's job is to go find energy, and epinephrine is to help your body use it. So when you're stressed, when we stay in this tonic place of stress, then those hormones are flowing. Those hormones are doing their job, and they will cause the blood sugars to go up. It'll cause spikes in insulin. Once insulin comes out, then boom, there we are, right? So find a common pathway. So high stress can lead to emotional eating, right? We talked about the heat model a minute ago. When those emotions get high enough, they will push through your decision. It will push through your plan. People say, oh no, I'm going to stick to the plan. Well, once that emotion gets strong enough, the plan is out the window. If you get too hungry, well, let's take hungry out of it. If you get too tired, too angry, too lonely, too bored, too frustrated, all of those things, all of those emotions, if we're not managing them successfully, if we're not managing them efficiently, if we're not managing them well, then that roller coaster is going up. That car is going up the roller coaster. And remember, when it gets to the top, it doesn't matter what you do. You can yell and scream and shout and jump up and down, but that car is coming back down. And just like that, when those emotions get high, it's coming down and it's crashing through your decision. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are managing our stress effectively. Develop mechanisms to deal with stress. You can't wait until you're stressed to manage stress. You've got to have mechanisms in place that are helping you deal with stress as it comes along. My son years ago asked me about guardrails. Why are there guardrails on the side of the road? He said nobody drives their car over off the road. I said no, but if they do, they're happy the guardrails are there, because the guardrails, once you hit the guardrails, you know that something's going on. You need to get back on. And so what we need in our lives are guardrails that are helping us stay centered, stay focused. So you want to develop those mechanisms to deal with stress. Yoga, meditation, walking, all of that can reduce stress. All right, I talk a lot about the power of now. Right, that says that right now, I'm okay. The last moment may have been terrible. The next moment may be horrendous. But right now, at this moment, I'm alive, I'm breathing, I am okay. And so in the book, he gives lots of different things, So I get in the shower, and sometimes I'll count the water drops. At least I try to count them as they're hitting my body, right? Because once my mind is counting, it can't think about other things. I'll sit and I'll watch the leaves outside the window on the tree that's right out here, right? So count the leaves on the tree. I'm driving in the car and I'm feeling the vibration, right? I'm being mindful. I'm being present. I'm managing my stress. At work, sometimes my team will see me disappear, and I'll go into my office and I sit there, right? I may pick up the phone and call someone. Or sometimes I'll just sit there for a moment. And I'll go to my favorite place, St. Simon's Island. I've talked about it before. If you don't know that story, go find one of our videos and you can hear that story. St. Simon's Island. So whatever you do to manage your stress, it improves your relationship with food. And ultimately, that's a big one, right? Because our relationship with food sometimes is not the healthiest. But when we are managing our stress, then we don't turn to food as a buffering behavior. Remember, buffering behaviors are those behaviors that we do so that we don't feel something, or that we avoid an emotion, or we underfeel. right? So we don't want to buffer, right? So manage stress. We're talking about what can we do to help suppress the appetite. Next, we want to try some natural supplements. There are lots of things that are on the in the world, that in the community, that's on the market that can help. Supplements like green tea extract that has been shown to increase metabolism and help with fat burning. Right? And when we're burning fat, when we increase the metabolism, then we're burning through sugar. When the sugar is going down, guess what? The insulin is not spiking and the appetite is not being stimulated. Fiber supplements, right? Like psyllium husk, can promote satiety and help to control hunger. So lots of things that are out there that can help with the hunger control. And that is the thing. I had a lady say to me, and you can see her story on our website. She said, if you can help me control my appetite, then I could lose weight. If you can help control appetite, then I could lose weight. It was that big. And for a lot of people, that's where they find themselves. The appetite is the thing that causes the big problem. Okay, so try some natural supplements, and then join a community. You guys knew this one was coming, right? Join a community. When you are in community, when you are in a space where there's support, where there's accountability, then we can be effective. Okay, so joining a community. This is joining a community of like-minded individuals can provide encouragement and accountability. Yeah, they can, like you see when people come on here, when they're sharing their stories, they will say, hey, I've had this challenge, or I've had this success, or I've had this thing that I'm doing. We have several community members that have gotten off medication, who are losing weight. We have one person whose BMI dropped by 10 points. Someone who has an A1C that went down up from 12 down to the 6s. Right? You've seen my journey. And we'll share that here in later this week as we go through some of the check-ins. Actually, I think I'll show that here in just a little while so you can see one of my successes. Two of my successes, really, is the weight that I've lost. Right? So beautiful. So we can share experiences together. We can share recipes, tips that we can share with other people. And also we can work on this wellness journey together. So important to be in community, because just like we do here on the channel, we educate, we empower, and we encourage. And that encouragement is the community. The encouragement comes from the community. Because if we're not in community, then we are not as effective as we could be, and we may not be as efficient as we could be. But joining the community allows us to be in that space where we can say, hey, yeah, this is what's going on. Okay? All right. So what are we talking about? Once again, we're talking about how do we deal with challenges? So now what? Right? So now what do we do? Now that we understand what those challenges are, right? Now that we understand what the challenges are, how do we deal with them? How do we go about suppressing the appetite? And these are the things that you could put in place that will help you to suppress the appetite. Remember, pillar number 2 is suppressing the appetite. It is huge. If we can master the plate, if we can master the plate, then we can master a lot. Appetite is huge in the realm of metabolism. As a matter of fact, appetite is huge in lots of different areas, right? Because we use food as a buffer for a lot of things. All right, so let's go ahead and what I want to do, I said I was going to show you one of my successes. Let's talk a little bit about that. And one of my successes is, let's see, let's do this one. Okay, let's take a look at weight. Okay, so right now, 185.6 is my weight. And if you've seen my trends, right, so you see down there, kind of this is a weekly trend. But if we look back over the course of a couple of years, I think the highest that we have on this graph is, I think, 260. Yeah, 260 was my weight. That was January 31st of 2022. Okay, January 31st of 2022. And you'll see over the course of time that my weight has dropped. And so one of my successes has been that it's had this continual drop, this continuous drop. Now, in a downward trend. Now, it was not all, so look at that right in there, right? So it was not all linear. So I went up and went down, went up, went down, went up and down. But over the course of time, we are heading down to where we want to be. And then, so I think, is this one? Right, so 185 is what my my current weight is. And that's been a success for me, right? The last time I was in 185, actually the last time I was in the 100s was when I was probably just got out of high school. Right, so first started college. I think when I got married, I was 180, maybe 160, 170, 180. Okay, so right in college. So that's one of my successes. Another one of my successes has been, and I don't think I have that still here. Well, maybe. Let's see. Yeah. So right there, right in the middle, that's A1C, 5.8. That was the last time I saw my doctor, right? 5.8. I think that's what it says. Now, I think it's a little higher now, 6.1, I believe, is the last one. But for years, struggled with A1Cs. But one of the benefits of the pillars is that they allow us to be successful in the management and, in fact, in the reversal of our diabetes. So that's what we want. That's where we're heading. Those are the benefits that we see in the space. And so I want to talk to you about your unlimited potential. You have unlimited ability to create change in your life. At your fingertips are the tools that come from education, empowerment, and encouragement. Within you is the ability to create your destiny. Within you is the ability to chart your course. You can overcome the challenges that you've had in the past. There were some decisions that you made. There's some complications that you're currently experiencing. There are some places where you go in your mind, say, look what I've done to my body. That's the past. But right now, you can make a decision for the future to go into the future with positivity, to go into the future with the understanding that we are now changing our outlook. We're making a shift in our frame. We're making a shift in our mindset. We are now going for, right? We're going for a growth mindset and not a limited mindset. The abilities that you have are enormous and they are unlimited, and they come from education, empowerment, and encouragement. And that's what we do here on the show, right? So we educate, we empower, and we encourage. We educate with the shows that we do, the blogs that we do, the podcasts that we do. All of that is with the intention of providing education. When we are doing those, it allows us to change our thought process. If you want to change something, if you want to improve something, you got to understand it and you've got to know what it is all about. And so that allows you, it gives you data, it gives you the ability to shift the frame, shift the change, look at it a different way, look at it from a different angle. So we educate, we empower, and the empowerment comes from all of the tools that we are learning. We've learned how to figure out what our why is. What are those things that are driving us? Why do you want to be healthy? Is it a vacation that you want to go on and you want to lose some weight so you can be there? Is it a child that's getting married, that's graduating? Is it a trip that you guys have been saving up for? It's retirement. You've got a granddaughter, grandson that's coming, that's about to be born. You want to be around. You want to be healthy. You want to be able to throw the ball. What is it that's your why? Because that's what will drive you. And then we learned how to fast. If you've not been following us in our fasting trend or our fasting process, go ahead and do that. There's a playlist that says how to fast successfully. It's a huge tool that we use in the process of reversing our diabetes, right? Tools, we're talking about tools. The HEAT model, which we just went through: habits, emotions, access, and taste. Emotional intelligence, understanding where you are, understanding how other people are feeling, and being able to use that for your benefit. Emotional intelligence. And then being able to manage your medication. Evaluating them to say, which medication should I be on? Which one should I think about coming off? And the first one I always talk about, or first group of medications I always talk about, are those medications that either stimulate insulin or give you insulin. We're talking about type 2 diabetics, adults with type 2 diabetics. If you are taking insulin, the very first thing that you want to try is to get off the insulin. Because remember, insulin stores, right? So weight. Insulin stimulates the appetite. Insulin dysregulates our satiety and hunger hormones. Insulin can cause us to have fatty liver. Insulin can cause high blood pressure because it decreases the elasticity, the stretchability, if you will, of our vessels. All of those things. So insulin, first one to get off of. And then any medication that stimulates your body to make insulin is the next step. So the tools that we're learning, right? So managing medication, being able to do that. And remember, it's not just for diabetes. Because diabetes is the prototypic prototypic obesity, not obesity. Diabetes is the prototypic metabolic disease. Obesity, hypertension, high cholesterol, polycystic ovarian syndrome, all of those fall into that same kind of milieu, that same kind of category. And this process works for all of those because it works for the prototypic disease, okay? And then our HEAT model. The HEAT model says that we eat because of habits, emotions, access, and taste. The habits that we formed, the routines that just seem natural, they just come. We don't even think about it. I tell the story that I was sitting in the movie one time, watching the movie, before I realized that I was eating popcorn. I hadn't even remembered that I stopped at the concession stand, got some popcorn. It was just so natural. And the HEAT model says that, yeah, that's what happened. We eat also because of emotions. When the emotions get high enough, they push through the things that we have decided. We push through. And so you can try to stop it. You can say, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. But guess what? If the emotion is strong enough, it's coming. Right? We eat because of emotions. We get angry. We get depressed. We get, even when we're happy, if we have not learned how to deal with that emotion, then that emotion can cause us to eat as well. We eat also because of access. There are things in our environment, things that we have, that just push us in that direction. Right? I don't bring cashews. I don't bring almonds into the house because, yeah, that's what happens. I eat them. We eat because of access. We eat also because of taste. The perfect combination of fat, salt, and sugar. The bliss point. When I go to New York, I'm looking for hot dogs, pizza, and Chinese food. Why? Because they remind me of my dad. So we're never chasing the food. We're always chasing what the food does, the space that it puts us in, the memory, that time we went to that place, we ate that thing, and we felt that way. We eat because of habits, emotions, access, and we eat because of taste. And our call to action here on the show, on the channel, in the space, join the challenges. Every month we have a challenge. Every month we talk to you about ways to implement the things that we're learning. Whether it's figuring out your why, or which of the HEAT model is yours, which one is the thing that pushes you, which is your trigger. I'll tell you, for me, it's EAT, emotions, access, and taste. All three of those are mine. Which ones are yours? Being able to create a menu. Right? We talked a little bit a while ago about one of the menus or the foods that we want. Right? So this is what when we say normal food, this is what I'm talking about. So minimize the whole foods or maximize the whole foods. Minimize the processed foods. No added sugar. Right? Starchy, non-starchy vegetables. Yeah? Lean protein, healthy fats. It has to be tasty. And it has to have the appropriate portion size. right? All of those. We talked about mentoring somebody, right? That was one of our challenges, making sure that you're finding somebody to mentor in the New Year, New You process. Don't just keep this to yourself. There are over 1 billion people on the planet right now who are diabetic or pre-diabetic. You can be a voice for change. You can be a space where say, hey, let's go watch this show together. Hey, let's improve this together. You can improve your community, improve your family, improve your hospital, improve your church, improve your doctor's office, all of those. And then adding some activity, some exercise to your regimen. Because when you do that, when you add activity, you are getting all the benefits that we talked about exercising. It improves your insulin resistance. It decreases your sugar. It burns calories. It suppresses the insulin, right? Because the blood sugar is going down, insulin is going down. It helps your body to use sugar effectively and efficiently, because you no longer need insulin, because the body, the muscles, exercising muscles will suck up sugar without the use of insulin. And so now the insulin is able to do other things that it needs to do in the rest of the body. So when you come, right, we want you to make sure that you are joining the challenges. Also, when you come, share your story. Let us know what successes you're having. What are the benefits that you're having? Where are you having challenges so we can rally around you? Remember, the community is growing. Make sure you are sharing the story, just like you see people sharing in the story their successes, how they're fasting, how much weight they've lost, how their A1C is improving, how much medication they're getting off. And then invite someone. Be a voice to make a change in your community. Over 1 billion people on the planet with diabetes and high blood pressure, diabetes or pre-diabetes, also blood pressure and coronary artery disease and high cholesterol and so on and so forth. Share the link with them. Say to them, hey, let's go watch this together. Come alongside them. Don't just tell them and disappear for 5 months, right? Come alongside them and say, hey, let's do this together. Be a mentor. And then the pillars for our reversing diabetes: decrease insulin, suppress appetite, and reduce sugar. We've dealt with the first two, decreasing the insulin and suppressing the appetite, which we dealt with tonight. And next we're going to talk about reducing sugar in our upcoming shows. Make sure that you are processing, that you're watching the shows and you're implementing the things that we're learning, because we want to make sure that you are keeping up. If you're joining us for the first time, you've never seen this show before, somebody sent it to you, you've come across, don't think that you have lost and that you are way behind. All right? You can start where you are and move towards the finish line. One of the things that we did, which I didn't mention, is we are challenging everyone to be able to fast for one 24-hour period once a week. Right? Wherever you are, work your way up to that. The benefits that come from fasting are incredible. If you've not looked at one of our shows, our check-ins, we do a review on Fridays of fasting. Make sure you get back there and watch it. The playlists are on our YouTube channel. In fact, let me see if I can pull that up really quickly. So the playlist is there. How to reverse diabetes, right? How to reverse diabetes is one of the playlists, and how to fast successfully. How to fast successfully. Let's see if let's see where it is. Where is it? And also there's one that's called fasting. Fasting for the beginner. Okay, there we are. So let's pop back over here. All right, so how to fast successfully. And look at that, there are 62 episodes in that. Right? So as we've gone through the space and fasted, all of those are listed there. I'm not sure why the thumbnails aren't coming up, but you get the idea, okay? And then the other one, oh, there's the thumbnail. It actually just came up. Let's get back over it. Where did it go? How to fast successfully. Boom. There you go. So you can see all of those, right? So there they are. How to fast successfully. Oh, oops, didn't mean to move that one. And then let me go back and pull up. Here's the one that's called How to Reverse your diabetes. There it is. How to reverse your diabetes. Okay. So you can get that out there, and you can see all of those that are on the channel. They're there, right? So make sure that you're watching them. Make sure you're doing, and like I said, you can be in the space. You don't have to say, hey, I've lost time, right? Start where you are. And then let's hop over, and I want to quickly look at what my ketones are. Remember right now, 72, almost 72 and a half hours of fasting. So let's see what my ketones are going to be. What do you think my ketones are, right? If you think you know, put those in the chat. Let's hop over here. So I've got to take that strip out and get that restarted. And then you see my Keto Mojo app on the screen. Let's go ahead and get that synced. Gonna pull it over. So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think it's going to be? All right, it says syncing. All right, so 64 was my blood sugar and 1.9 ketones. 1.9 ketones. And if you recall, ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered therapeutic. Are considered normal. 0.5 to 1.5 are considered nutritional ketosis, and then above 1.5 is considered therapeutic ketosis. Okay, so a lot of people will help try to maintain in themselves in ketosis by eating a ketogenic diet. Right, so that's one way to do it. So for fasting, the goal of fasting often is to get into ketosis. Right, so I'm excited when I see this because that means my body is burning fat and is converting it into ketones for me to use as energy. If we look at the graph, the tan line that you see there, that's blood sugar, and then the turquoise line at the bottom, those are ketones. So as my blood sugar has gone down, right, remember, blood sugar going down means that insulin is going down, and when insulin goes down, ketones come up because insulin and ketones can't coexist. Insulin drives ketones away. Okay, so as I eat, then the blood sugar goes down because, so as I stop eating, blood sugar goes down, insulin goes down, and then the ketones begin rising because the body switches over from burning glucose, glycogen, and it starts burning ketones for energy. So love it, love it, love it. All right. Also, if you've not done so, make sure that you get over and watch This Week in Review, which airs 6 o'clock in the morning on Sundays, where we do a recap of our show with some commentary. Great new addition that we've had to the show. People have talked and said that they're excited about that. If you have someone who misses the show, we love for you to be on the live, but if you can't make it, then you can in the morning on Sunday, you can catch up on what we've done that week, This Week in Review. As always, I am happy to be here with you. This is Dr. Dwain Woode, as I say. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health in your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And then this year, new year, new you. We'll see you later this week at our check-in, and then on Sunday, This Week in Review. And then keep an eye out. You will probably see me popping up through the week with some videos and maybe some a post here and there. Enjoy and have a great evening. Good night, everybody.